Hey everybody, welcome back to the Turnout. I am your host, Aloy, and I've been watching Avenue 5. This is a sci-fi comedy show that is on HBO, starring Hugh Laurie and the guy who did the voice for Olaf and a bunch of other actually really great people. Watching this show, there is a character named Jordan, played by Himesh Patel, who is a stand-up comedian.
One, two. Hello, I'm Jordan, best stand-up comic this side of Mars, also the only stand-up comic this side of Mars, but don't tell my mum that, she's super impressed. Laugh. Is this thing on?
Yeah, it's on.
No, I know. It's a bit.
He's supposed to be a professional stand-up, but absolutely nothing that he says is funny. And it's weird because watching this sci-fi comedy show, I almost feel like Jordan is a representation of this show.
Is that funny, or is that too much maths?
For comedy, it's not really that funny. Hey everybody, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification so you always know when the Turnout puts out a new video. Now on to the rest of the video. Now don't get me wrong, the show is actually full of characters and situations that on their face are pretty funny. There's a British guy who's playing a captain on a fake kind of vessel. He even reveals at one point that he's got a hairpiece, like everything about him is fake. You have a childish kind of billionaire cruise line owner who's there just to kind of come in and say really stupid stuff. He's got an assistant who is mean and like snarky to everybody except for the owner, and even sometimes to him. You even have an ex-astronaut who is played by the guy who played Neelix on Star Trek, which I actually really liked. But he's kind of like this ex-astronaut who's kind of playing around with his pseudo-fame and still trying to keep that going. So it's got all of these kind of funny characters, but nothing about the show itself is really all that funny. The show is about a space cruise that gets thrown off course, and they find out they're gonna spend years and years on this vessel, and they have to figure out how to course correct. Like, that's the premise. It's not that funny, but I can see where there would be humor in that. Through a calamity of misfortunes, like all of the poop from the ship started getting released and actually starting to revolve around the ship in this weird kind of thing. They even like light it up with lights and stuff. It's really weird. To passengers kind of giving into mob mentality and wanting to kill some of the other members for making mistakes, and even to the point where they think that they're on a reality show and they want to throw themselves through the airlock to escape the show and just go back home. It's a really, really weird show. And you notice that I went from poop to death, and that is kind of the escalation that you get in this show. And with these things as a backdrop, I don't think it really matters how funny your individual characters are. The show itself and the premise is pretty horrific. And even if you do take away those kind of funny characters, you also have a couple that's going through a divorce. You have a couple who one is domineering, the other one is like nothing. You have the customer service guy who is able to turn everything that's bad into a good situation, and then he ends up making things worse by doing that. Even going back to the funny character of the captain, his life is in shambles by the end of the season. His husband and his wife leave him because he was in a throuple. He has gone into depression. He starts drinking. He loses his job. Just everything is going wrong with him. And this is all within a context of a comedy show. And there are some comedy shows that try to mix in some drama and stuff. I get that. But this really wasn't that funny from the very beginning. The only reason I think anybody really thought this was funny was because we were told it was supposed to be funny. And I think that's the way that the showrunners are thinking about this. Each of these things individually are actually kind of horrific. But if you throw them all together, the absurdity of all of these things happening all at once should be a recipe for pretty darn good comedy. But I don't know. I find myself sitting there watching Avenue 5 and going, is this supposed to be funny?
Iris, who wrote this?
I did.
And is it like this all the way through, or does it get any better?
But what do you guys think? Let me know if you guys have been enjoying Avenue 5, and are you enjoying it as the comedy that it's supposed to be? Let me know about all of that down in the comments. Also, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell, and I can't wait to continue this discussion with y'all. I have been your host, Aloy. This has been The Turnout. Thanks for showing up.